YouTube, what is up? I'm your homeboy Josh, back at you. Today I got an email from David James who writes, you need to check out Good Mythical Morning's new video called Cooking Kebabs with Power Tools. Here's why.
This is an intro. I don't need the intro. I don't need an intro. This is just a vape show. It's just a vape show. Vape show. This is an intro. I don't need the intro. I don't need an intro. This is just a vape show. It's just a vape show. Vape show.
Good Mythical Morning.
For those of you who don't know who these two guys are, Rhett and Link of Good Mythical Morning, a channel on YouTube, and they have 12 million subscriber reach. Just today they put up a video and it has 650,000 views already, more than that, with 20,000 thumbs ups. They have a very, let's call it, advertiser-friendly approach to making videos on this platform. And who's their latest sponsor, might you ask? Well, let's skip through all the nonsense of them making shish kebabs to the last 5 minutes or so of the video when they introduced that latest sponsor as none other than the Office of the Surgeon General and the Center for Disease Control.
Okay, time for our next question. The Office of the Surgeon General and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention asks...
They asked us the question?
Yes, they did. The question they asked was, can you shed some light on the dangers of using e-cigarettes for young people?
Stop. Did he just say that smoking cigarettes is an unhealthy choice? Well, in which case I have no problem with that. We can all go home, right? Well, no, that's not what he said. Back it up. He says,
e-cigarettes can contain nicotine and other harmful chemicals, and because we love you, Mythical Beasts, and because we don't want to see you make unhealthy choices that could threaten your well-being.
Yes, he says that e-cigarettes are an unhealthy choice that can threaten your well-being. But you and I know that e-cigarettes are nothing like cigarettes and are 97% safer than cigarettes, according to the Royal College of Physicians, who, by the way, were the same organization that originally reported on the dangers of smoking combustible tobacco.
We gladly accepted the Surgeon General's request that we sit down.
You mean big fat check and notoriety, right? Right.
And teach you a little something about why young people shouldn't use e-cigarettes. In our own way, of course.
It's time for Amazingly Amazing Science!
Oh shit, oh snap, they got scientific evidence. Oh fuck guys, we're all screwed now, aren't we? Yet another damning study on the dangers of vaping. I guess I may as well go back to smoking camels, cause science, right?
How does the nicotine in e-cigarettes affect your brain?
Stop. That there is not an e-cigarette. That is a coffin nail, that is a fag, that is a cowboy killer if I ever saw one. That right there is a cigarette. That is no e-cigarette. No e-cigarette has a red ember at the end glowing up with vapors coming out of it. Obviously these guys know nothing about vaping.
Until about age 25, the brain is still growing, and each time you create a new memory or learn a new skill, you are building stronger connections or synapses between your brain cells. When nicotine is introduced into your system, it changes the way synapses are formed, which can harm the parts of your brain that control attention and learning.
False. Controversial topic, I know, but nicotine is in fact not the cancer-causing bane of humanity that so many people have come to believe that it is. Nicotine is about as harmful as caffeine, the caffeine that's been taken out of this decaffeinated tea, for example. In fact, nicotine is about as beneficial as caffeine as well, if not more so. A number of studies exist that show nicotine is actually useful in combating things like ADHD and schizophrenia, that it's in fact what you could call a cognitive superdrug, and that without the 2,000 other chemicals found in combustible cigarettes, poisons added in by those tobacco companies to keep you addicted to them and slowly kill you over time. It is not only harmless, but could in fact be beneficial to you. All under the watchful eye, by the way, of the Surgeon General and the Centers for Disease Control, who are getting a nice little subsidy from the big tobacco companies, from the taxation that's being placed on those products, which are funding state and national projects and whatnot. But no, the Surgeon General doesn't have a horse in this race aside from making sure young people are free from the dangers of vaping, right? Right, okay.
Think of it this way. Your brain is like a neighborhood baseball team, and your brain cells are like your teammates. With each ball thrown back and forth, your team gets stronger and stronger until one day, Nick, a new kid that just moved in down the street, decides to come hang out with the team after practice.
Nick, Like nicotine. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. You guys are on fire.
Nick is a cool kid. He's got a braided rat tail, a permanent marker tattoo of a snake wrapped around an anchor that says Snakeor, and he never wears a sock on his right foot, just because. But Nick is bad, real bad, at playing baseball.
Keep in mind, nothing has been said about smoking whatsoever. It's all about vaping. Okay. So we're comparing nicotine and the people who vape to this rat-tailed fucker named Nick who has a permanent marker tattoo of a snake and dresses like a one-socked hobo. Is that what I'm hearing here? Should I be offended in some way by all this? Well, at least he's not a fuckboy with chin straps from 2003 and a Jufro haircut. Things could be worse.
He convinces some guys on the team that it's not cool to play baseball, so they all get rat tails and snake anchor tattoos and they stop throwing the ball altogether. Soon enough, the whole team is bad, real bad, at baseball. And their right feet smell.
Wait, hold on here. I thought this was science. I thought guys were taking me to school here. We were talking all synapses in the brain and cells and nicotine inhibiting those connections, and now we're talking baseball metaphors? In a world full of rat-tailed, tattooed, sock-wearing, single sock-wearing hobos? This is what we call fear-mongering at its finest, people. Parents, look out for the evil vaping kids because they're everywhere and they're gonna turn your straight, clean-cut, baseball playing lovable kid into a rat tail wearing guy with a permanent marker tattoo who likes to vape nicotine all day. Okay.
They're so bad, in fact, that they're cut from the league. In need of an extracurricular activity, they decide to do the only thing a ragtag group of preteen boys can do. They start a boy band. They call themselves LMNOP, and they cut their first track, I Like You.
I like you, baby.
Are we attacking vaping here, or are we attacking musically? Vaping is turning kids and nicotine is turning kids into a bunch of musically kids? I'm really confused here.
Shortly thereafter, pop music mogul Stu Ruby stumbles upon the single and likes what he hears. He likes what he hears.
Ew. And now this creepy pedophile looking dude is liking these rat-tailed, tattooed, one-sock, smelly preteens who really like musically? Ew. He likes them, guys. He likes what he hears. He's a pedophile.
He likes what he hears.
They're the real enemy here, parents. The real enemy is pedophiles. Are you that worried about vaping when there's people like this creepy looking Stu motherfucker in the world? Parents, we don't want your children, your musically kids. We vapers, we don't want them. They're not welcome on this channel. They're not welcome in the conventions. They're not welcome in the vape shops. They're not welcome in the industry. We want nothing to do with your kids. What you gotta worry about is this Stu motherfucker over here. He's creepy. He likes them.
Stu signs the lads to his record company and they make it big. Real big. Soon, millions of kids have succumbed to the charms of LMNOP. They too have grown rat tails and have forgone the socks on their right feet.
Just give me a minute. Just wait. I need a minute here. Okay, so wait. They sign a record deal and make it big? That's what happened. To recap, they were clean-cut kids playing baseball until this dude Nick, aka Nicotine, comes along and turns them into a bunch of rat-tailed, tattoo-wearing, one-sock-wearing, smelly, hobo-looking kids, form a musically kid band with a stupid name like they pulled it from consecutive letters in the alphabet or something, and they got signed by this pedophile named Stu, and now they've made a record deal and they've made it big? What the fuck? I thought you're trying to tell kids not to vape. What kind of message are you guys trying to send over at Good Mythical Morning, guys? That doesn't sound like the right message to be sending to these kids here. Shit, I can just slum it in Little League forever, or fuck it, let's get more vapes and we'll form a musically band, and this dude that's probably into us for more than just our music is gonna sign us. We're huge!
With sock purchases cut in half, the sock market crashes, causing panic and chaos across the globe. Civilization must rebuild itself from the ground up, and humanity is sent back into a dark age.
And an ice age. A dark ice age. So the next time you're reaching for that e-cigarette, think about how cold and dark the world will be.
And don't.
This has been Amazingly Amazing Science!
Stop, what? Back up here, the socks? The socks Here's how I look at the socks. The socks are like a metaphor for cigarettes, right? Like actual combustible tobacco cigarettes. Are you guys trying to say that since all of us are vaping now, we're killing big tobacco? That their monies are plummeting? Because they are, and that's why the Surgeon General is sponsoring this video, because he wants his payout from, the tobacco companies back. That's what's happening here, actually. The government's tax money is being hurt by the lack of cigarette sales now. That's what's going on here. They're resorting to approaching you guys, Good Mythical Morning, to promote this smear campaign against vaping, that we're in it for the children, that we're just as bad as Stu Redmond over there, who likes them. We don't like them. We don't like them at all. That's why they're working with you, Good Mythical Morning, so they can use you to disseminate this misinformation of, completely unfucking scientific and ridiculous cartoon about the dangers of vaping, and disseminate that to your viewers so they can hope to get a little bit of money back. That's what's going on here.
Thanks to the Office of the Surgeon General and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention for partnering with us on this episode. Get the facts about e-cigarettes and young people by visiting the link below and in the description.
And click through to Good Mythical More, where we have a very special guest, the actual Surgeon General of the United States of America, Dr. Vivek Murthy.
Wait, there's more? There's more! So the way that these two beautiful bastards have decided to further monetize their channel, and it was quite brilliant, by the way, and it really is, I'm not hating, I think that this is fucking brilliant, is they have half the show on Good Mythical Morning, and then in the description you click over to their other channel, Good Mythical More, where the show continues with the Surgeon General as special guest. Bra fucking vo. I don't know if I have the patience or the energy to do that myself, but it's brilliant. Especially since all your ads are playing, by the way. In case you were worried about the advertiser boycott. It doesn't seem to be affecting you guys any.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the Surgeon General of the United States of America.
Dr. Vivek Murthy, come on in. This is not Chase, guys.
Okay, all right, it is Chase, but no, Chase dresses up like all types of things around here.
Well, guys,
but he's never been a Surgeon General.
I'm glad to be here, and I'm going to tell you my name is not Chase, for the record.
Okay.
So I'm not going to bore you with all this shit. Long story short, they start talking about power tools with the Surgeon General, the joke that he's both a surgeon and a general, and that, hypothetical fingers getting cut off, and could he save their lives and all that kind of bullshit. No, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to bore you. Skip on ahead.
Let's talk about these e-cigarettes. Of course, I think we covered pretty much everything there is to know with our little analogy there.
No, you didn't. Not even close. Not even a little bit.
But you've got more authoritative information than we do, and it seems like I know I've seen it. I've seen the children out there, not the children, but the young folks.
So wait, first they're children that you've seen vaping. I don't believe that you're out and about and seeing children vaping. Then you clarify and say young folks. How young? Well, I can tell you that based upon my channel and my demographics, the majority of the people that watch my channel, and I assume are into vaping, are 25 to 35 up to 50 years old. Very, very small percentage points above and below those numbers.
With the e-cigs as an alternative, they think it's an alternative. Why is that not the case?
Yeah, well, we have a lot of young people who are using e-cigarettes these days, and many of them are using them because they feel that e-cigarettes are not harmful, because they have seen advertisements for e-cigarettes, which are really common these days.
Right.
You see a whole lot of advertisements for e-cigarettes. Certainly, you still see more advertisements for actual cigarettes than e-cigarettes.
But many young people have also turned to e-cigarettes because of the flavors.
I got one thing to say about this bullshit about flavors going after the children. How many flavored vodka drinks are out there? How many Mike's Hard root beers are out there? Is the alcohol industry targeting youth? Why don't you go after them? Vapers are people too. A lot of us like these sorts of sweet, fun, funky flavors. We like that kind of shit. It's not just for kids. We like that shit too.
And in fact, I brought a few props to show you some of these flavors and what e-cigarettes are. And you may not recognize the term e-cigarettes, but these devices are essentially devices that take nicotine, flavors, and other chemicals, and they convert them into an aerosol form so you
Right.
can inhale them. And
People
sometimes
call it the vape.
Dude, Rhett, I'm not even, dude. I'm not even. Even Vivek is looking at you like you're a tool. Anyway, we're going to skip ahead a little bit. He shows them an ego pen. He shows them a cig-alike. They have a funny bit where they go back and forth saying, oh, don't use it, blah, blah, blah. That's why you came here. It's funny. Okay, whatever. Move on.
the flavors. Now, this is one example that I want to share with you. This is an e-juice, and I'm going to read you what it actually says. It says, a warm, fluffy blueberry donut dunked in a glass of milk.
Sounds horrible.
That sounds delightful. That sounds like an all-day vape right here. That sounds like something that I want sent to me. Someone send me some, please. I'll review it. Thank you. See, flavoring is not there for the kids. It's there for us, man. We like these flavors too. Flavors are what makes vaping vaping. The sheer variety of them. That's what keeps us interested and keeps us off combustible tobacco, keeps us away from cigarettes. The variety and the fun that we have with our vapes and how there's a flavor, all these flavors that taste infinitely better than cigarettes. That's why we love vaping. That's why it works for us, man. That and that it's, very similar to having a cigarette, the feeling that you get from it, the feeling of the pull. It's also kind of misinformative in a way because you're showing this cig-alike and then you're showing this juice and it's like, there's no way you're putting this juice into that cig-alike. It just doesn't work that way. Sounds like Surgeon General needs to educate himself a bit more about how these products work. Or stop playing dumb. One or the other.
So this is,
And
you
it's
can
got
imagine,
a donut on it, and it says donuts.
It's got a donut on it, and it says donuts. Did Link hit his head in the video earlier or something? I didn't watch it, to be honest with you. I need to watch you guys fucking with shish kebabs, but is you stating the obvious? That's horrible. It's got a donut on it. It says donuts. Did something happen? Does he need medical treatment?
But I bet it's not actually a donut, is it?
well, I'm gonna let you actually smell this so you can.
I think
see
I
what
can
it
already
smells
smell
like.
a little bit of it,
Yep.
even before it's...
Exactly. I don't even have to open it. You could probably smell it.
Oh yeah, it
Get
smells
that?
like a warm blueberry donut dumped in a warm, what is it?
glass of milk.
That's why flavors work. That's why flavors are so good. They smell good. Like they don't smell like cigarettes. They don't smell like combustible tobacco, whether they're being, vaporized or not. I mean, they smell good. We eat with our senses with this stuff. It's not just feeding an addiction. It's experiencing flavors. It's good.
It does. I mean, it's tempting. It's freaking tempting, which makes me a little angry. But you can open it.
Yeah, well, feel free to open it. You'll get the aroma even more strongly. But here's the key: if you
I broke the seal.
that's okay.
Catch that? Broke the seal. That shit's childproof. Yeah. All these bottles are fucking childproof. Childproof bottles have been pretty much a standard in the industry even before August 8th when the regulations went into effect last year. Vape juice manufacturers had been incorporating childproof resistant caps for years, for as long as it was when I started vaping 2 years before that. Okay? Even then, childproof caps had already been incorporated into these bottles. That's key.
If you read the front of the box or even the front of the bottle, you won't see any mention of the fact that this liquid actually contains nicotine in it.
Wait for it. I know what you're all saying. Oh, he brought the one bottle that doesn't have the nicotine warning on it. The one bottle, he found it. Wait for it.
So there's no warnings? They don't have to do the warnings yet?
Well, if you turn to the back, what you'll find is that there in small print,
smells like candy, man.
it lists that it contains nicotine.
Right.
But many kids aren't necessarily reading this, and many youth and young adults who buy these products don't read all of the fine print.
Did you catch that? On the back, it says that the label is there. Look at this label. It's nowhere on here. It doesn't list nicotine at all. But in fact, it does. Because that's the other thing that we've been doing in this industry for as long as I've been vaping. There's always been nicotine warnings on every bottle. Why? Because we're a self-regulated industry. We have been doing right by the community and doing right by the public for going on way back before the Surgeon General and the Center for Disease Control and the FDA ever felt it necessary to intervene into our industry. We've been doing it forever. Let me grab this bag right here. This bag here has all the juice that I brought back from Vape Showcase in Atlanta. We're just gonna look at them all really quick. Warning right there in big print on both sides and big print on the bottle. Oh, that does smell good, shit. Right there, this whole panel, all nicotine warning. My favorite juice of all time, right there, big print on the side. I bought like 4 bottles of this shit, 4 bottles of it. Big print right there in black and small print on the side as well. Big and small print. It is there on that one too. Prop 65, really big. Yeah, this is fresh cream. Oh man, I love this juice. That whole panel right here, this whole panel right here. This is not the same bottle, I got 2. Big print right here, big print. Is that everything? That's everything. This bullshit about bottles not having nicotine warnings on them, this bullshit about the labels being too small, the majority of those labels, big labels with the nicotine warnings. They're there. They're big. They're where you can see them. This guy's full of shit. We've been doing this with the labels for years. None of us are saying that these labels should not be on the bottles. None of us have a problem with that when it comes to the FDA's deeming regulations. We have a problem with the pre-market tobacco application that's going to remove vapor products, 99% of all vapor products from the shelves in 2018. That's what we have a problem with. That's our issue. And spoiler alert, nowhere is that mentioned anywhere in this video, how they're going to be destroying the vaping industry completely and putting all these mom and pop companies that have come up and wrestled themselves out from the rat race to become their own bosses and their entrepreneurs and all that. None of it about all those people being put out of business. It's all about this arbitrary bullshit that... Moving on.
Yeah, the only thing I would read is donuts, fluffy, donut, milk.
Like donuts are on there twice. Fluffy's on there once, which is good enough for me. Now, and so people, obviously, I see why this is tempting to a kid, and then I think a lot of people are like, well, it's not smoke. And they're like, oh, because cigarettes have all the bad stuff in it, and it's like something's burning. And so then when I go over here to this stuff, it's totally cool, man. It's totally cool. Why is that an incorrect perspective?
And that comment right there is the closest they get in this video to saying anything about combustible tobacco, how the perception is that it's not smoke. Well, the thing is, it isn't. It's not. It's completely different than combustible tobacco and all the toxins that go along with that. But that's as much as they go into with this. It's not smoke. And asking the Surgeon General to explain how it's just as bad.
Yeah, so while these are not traditional cigarettes, which are what we call combustibles, meaning that you actually, you light them and then you actually have product that burns, while these are not actually that, they aren't safe for kids or for youth or young adults. And that's an important point to make. You know, if you look at how many young people are using these products now, we went from having nearly no use by young people in 2010 to now having e-cigarettes be the most commonly used product by middle and high school students.
Wow.
There was
More than pencils?
well, most commonly used tobacco
Keyboards.
product.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the other side of that coin is that smoking combustible tobacco is at an all-time low.
And what's important to know about the aerosol that comes out of e-cigarettes is it's not a harmless water vapor. It contains nicotine, it contains chemicals from the flavoring and the other additives.
It's propylene glycol and vegetable glycerin is what it is, and food flavoring. The same exact things that they make asthma vaporizers out of, as well as nicotine, which, as we talked about earlier, is not inherently a dangerous chemical.
But the nicotine is really the point of concern here, because nicotine is a highly addictive substance, and most e-cigarettes do in fact contain nicotine.
Except, of course, for the e-cigs and personal vaporizers that don't contain nicotine, which you neglect to mention, because when we put our own juice into our devices, we have the choice of whether to use nicotine or not, don't we?
And nicotine is concerning not just because it's addictive, but because of the effect that it has on the developing brain. Now, when you're young, when you're in your adolescence or young adulthood,
I am.
Blah, blah, blah. It makes for a funny joke. He's young at heart. Nicotine bad for young people. Nothing about cigarettes being bad for young people. Just nicotine with a focus on vaping.
when you look at folks who use e-cigarettes, at youth in particular, you find that they're twice as likely to be open to smoking traditional cigarettes compared to youth who don't use e-cigarettes.
If that's the case, how is cigarette smoking, combustible tobacco, at an all-time low?
Right.
So that's a real concern for me and for others in public health and medicine.
And they're ruining donuts.
To sum it up, kids, don't smoke. And if you don't smoke, then don't vape. There's no reason for you to vape if you're not already a smoker. The reason that the majority of us became vapers was because we wanted to move away from cigarettes because they were doing harm to our bodies. There's no reason for you to pick up smoking. There's no reason for you to in turn pick up vaping. I started smoking at 15. It was the dumbest thing I've ever done. I'm so thankful for e-cigarettes and vaping that I've been able to make the switch and I'm living a healthier lifestyle. So thankful for it. I'm thankful for all the flavors. I'm thankful for the community. I'm thankful for everything about it. I had to do it over again. I wouldn't be a smoker either. No vapor out there wants to see kids pick up vaping. But the thing is, nowhere in this video are they saying don't smoke cigarettes. They don't even say that once in this video. I go back, watch both videos. I'm not going to expose you to the rest of this crap. I'm not. Because it's a lot of just jib-jab back and forth. It's bullshit. It's a lot of crap, and you have to sit through a bunch of shish kebab bullshit while you're watching the first one to make it to this one. I'll have links to both videos in the description. In fact, check me if you want, but nowhere, absolutely nowhere in this video does anyone actually say the words, don't smoke cigarettes. It's all don't vape, don't vape, don't vape. Don't fall for donut flavoring. Don't fall for this tiny label, which is not all that tiny on the packaging. Fuck off. Disconcerting in this video that they're saying the words don't vape, but they're not saying it alongside the words don't smoke. All that this video is a smear piece against the vape industry, saying that we're targeting children and trying to lure them into vaping the same way that big tobacco lured us into smoking. When in fact, we've been self-regulated in this industry for years upon years, and all these things that have been implemented with the FDA regulations that went into effect last year, we were already practicing those things. I only hope, good Mythical Morning, that your audience is smart enough to know that smoking is still way, way worse than vaping. That because they watched this video, they heard that vaping was so terrible that when someone offers them a vape, they turn it down, but then when someone offers them a cigarette, they say yes, because in their mind, they heard once that vaping was unsafe, but in that same context, didn't hear that smoking was even more deadly. Anyway guys, that is all I have for you all tonight. Thank you guys so much for the subs, the comments, the likes, and 2 more ways you can support the channel is the Patreon account in the description and the affiliate links, which I'll be adding very shortly if I haven't already. And I guarantee you that those affiliate links, they will lead you to responsible websites and businesses that support the vape community by making sure that they sell products with child-proof caps, easy to find nicotine warning labels, and age verification software built into the website to protect young people from the dangers of vaping. Because all of them do care about this industry and they care about responsible business practices and being responsible vapers. Till next time, I'm your homeboy Josh. Vape on, Vapers.